why we all must become journalists in order to network. And I'll teach you how. And this is a really, really important section. So in this new digital reality, the more often you publish quality content on different social media platforms or outlets, the more often you get noticed, right? And the more often you get noticed, the more often people start thinking of you as a thought leader, okay? It doesn't matter how old or young you are. The more often you get thought of as a thought leader, the more opportunities you will have in life and the more recruiters that will put you on their radar screens, okay? Well, if these are the new digital reality rules, then I'm going to make you a journalist rock star right now, okay? And I'm going to make it simplistic, and you're going to be up and running and writing immediately. So in this section, I will show you how to be active on LinkedIn in terms of what to write, what to like, what to share, what to repost, what to comment on, and most importantly, how to write articles the way professional journalists do. Okay, it's a lot easier than you think, okay? Now, I don't call myself a professional journalist, but I do love writing about my passion, which is helping people become more successful. And here's some, I'm humbled to show you some of my examples of articles I've written in my Inc.com column, in Wire Magazine, VentureBeat, and other places. And I actually added a lot of these things, not all of them, to my LinkedIn profile. After a while, when you write a lot of stuff, you don't end up adding everything. But when you first start out and you write a guest column at, say, Wire Magazine or somewhere else, and by the way, you just got to ask. Then you feel great and you put it on your profile. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. My goal, right, and this is actually, I'm mentioning this to you, so you hold me to it. I've been trying for years to get in the New York Times, right? This is personal. My dad loves the New York Times, right? He reads it when he's in Canada in the summers, and when the winters it's too cold, he and my mom go down to Fort Lauderdale, so it's warm there, and he still reads the New York Times every day. And one of my dreams in life, my goal, is to write an editorial for the New York Times and have my dad open it up and say, "Oh, it's Chris, you wrote one." You know, it's just whatever you look. I don't know, maybe you look for approval every age. Who knows? But anyway, I've been trying, man. It's tough. It's tough. I've submitted so many articles, but what they want is they want you to back check it, fact test it, and they don't answer. They just don't. I mean, they have a canned answer. But anyway, when I get there, I'll be the happiest man in the world. So anyway, one of my goals. Off script. Sorry. Anyway, let's get back on track here. Sorry. So yeah, I don't call myself a professional journalist, but again, I love helping people and I love writing about that stuff. Okay. So here's some examples. And it took me a while to figure out how to write. Okay. And I'm going to teach you in this section what it took me a couple of years to learn. Okay. I'm going to condense it. Okay. How the editors at the magazines I wrote at, they told me how to write. And it's so much easier than you think. Okay. It's not like you're writing for The Economist and you use these big words and you speak gooder than everyone else, that sort of thing, right? Think of it like writing USA Today, something like that. Okay. Okay. So I want you to write about whatever you're most passionate about and post articles every now and then in LinkedIn. Okay. Now, if you feel that you're writing about whatever it is you want to be considered as a thought leader of, and you start writing and seeing it as a job, you know, whatever you're writing about, it just might not be your passion. And that could be a signal to you that maybe you should, I don't know, maybe think about another career. I don't know. Okay. But it's weird when you write, you get this incredible, it's like the opposite of writer's block, right? And it comes in spurts, right? And the reason I'm talking about this a lot is because it's a way for you to differentiate yourself, because most of your competitors won't be writing to the extent that you will be, right? But it's almost like you get this this inspiration. You're driving on the highways, happened to me a lot. And I get off at an exit earlier than I should, and I stop by McDonald's, whatever, Starbucks, and in the parking lot, and I just start writing. Right? And it just pours out of you. It's like that Bradley Cooper movie, Limitless, right? Where you kind of just, I don't know, you're in that zone, right? And when you're in that zone, you can write an article in 10 minutes, right? And these articles can be short, by the way, right? So, and I think about them in the car too, in terms of what I should write about next, okay? And again, I want you to write about whatever you're most passionate about. So remember, if we get out of bed in the morning and we tell ourselves that we're going to work, then with all due respect, we're doing it wrong. You got to find your passion, man. You got to find out what was the reason you were put on this earth, right? And so when you start writing, you will figure out if that's your passion or not, whatever it is you're writing about. Okay. So the bottom line here is that I want you to write about your passion in LinkedIn. That passion is what career you should be in. Okay, start participating on LinkedIn via very simple updates. Okay, so after you've completed your rock star solid LinkedIn profile, which will be done at actually in a few more sections from now, then I want you to start getting started in becoming active on LinkedIn. Okay, by clicking the like button and occasionally commenting and reposting items that your business heroes have posted. Okay, so I'm going to show you soon how to follow people on LinkedIn in terms of your business heroes. Then we're going to start thinking about commenting on your business heroes' posts, liking their posts, and reposting them if you think that your LinkedIn contacts would enjoy seeing that stuff. Okay, and this is actually a very good way to get started on LinkedIn because potential employers and recruiters might be watching. Okay. Now, I want to talk about how to write LinkedIn posts like a professional journalist. Okay, it's not that hard. So I want you to be thought of as a thought leader. Okay, be a thought leader. I want you to eventually own your passion and business category. I want you to own it. Okay, if you don't stay in front of people, then other people will take your mind share. I want you to be a category owner. Okay, and whatever it is you're most passionate about. Okay, so we can all write columns in LinkedIn now, right? And what they call it is Pulse, P-U-L-S-E, okay, per this image. So please start writing in Pulse, as it will really help you get noticed, okay? And what happens is, I haven't figured out the algorithm yet, but if you write an article and the people at LinkedIn like it, they will put it profiled in post and you'll get 10 or 20,000 people reading it. It helps you from a profile perspective because if more people are following you, then when recruiters do searches on certain keywords, you come up higher in the search rankings. Okay, so we can all write LinkedIn columns now. It's amazing, right? There's no barriers to entry now. Like in the past, it was just certain people that could be journalists. Now we can all be journalists. It's amazing, right? It's kind of like when we first started figuring out we can all trade stocks online and we don't have to talk to brokers that were going to charge us a fortune, right? The barriers are broken. It's amazing. It's like Airbnb. Anybody can host people in their house now and make money off it, right? We couldn't compete with hotels before. Now we can, right? With LinkedIn, everybody can be a journalist. And I want you to embrace it before everybody else does. Okay, so here's the rules that I adhere to when I write journals online, okay, or articles online, okay? And by the way, you don't have to just post them to LinkedIn. Later on, I'll tell you how to post it to a million places at the same time using something called Hootsuite, okay? So the rules are this. Some of these rules are feedback I've received from my editors of the columns I've written for in Inc. Magazine, Wired, Venture Beat, a bunch of other places, whatever, right? So first of all, write from your heart, okay, and enjoy it. If it feels like work, don't do it, okay, or find another passion. And you'll never have these incredibly inspirational moments. You will have these ridiculous moments when it's the middle of the night and you think of something to write about and you're like, oh my God, I got to put pen to paper. And you get up and you write about it, right? And you feel truly inspired and you write something that will help other people, right? You'll know when it happens, okay? You'll know when it happens, okay? It will happen, okay? It's like the opposite of writer's block. It kind of feels like, again, that movie Limitless, but also Jerry Maguire, right? That was the first date my wife went on in 96 or 97, whatever, where he wrote that business plan all night. He couldn't stop writing, right? And then he got fired the next day. But it's probably a good thing he got fired. Okay, that wasn't his passion. Okay, so next up, your paragraphs, and we covered this before. Your paragraphs in the articles you publish should never have more than, say, 3 sentences, okay? And nobody has the attention span anymore to read really long paragraphs. as again, you're competing with many different screens, right? I mean, when was the last time you finished a 5,000 word editorial in I'm not gonna say New York Times because I'll watch this on their reel, right? Yeah, in the New York Times. When was the last time you finished a really, really, really long article, right? It's been years for me. I don't know about you. Okay, less is more. Number 3, don't use really big, impressive words, okay? When I go on vacation, I read USA Today or local papers instead of The Economist. And the reason I say that is I want you to appeal to everybody, okay? It's kind of like when I invest in a company, I want to invest in a company that has a massive market, a massive total addressable market, instead of investing in a company that is only focused on a small niche, right? You want to kind of cast your net wide. Okay. The 4th one is the image that you use in the article has to be so inspiring or engaging. You know, people judge a book by its cover in this digital age. Okay, the photo is important. Okay, and it's a lot of fun coming up with a photo too. I enjoy that. Number 5, the title has to be incredibly engaging. Okay, and simplistic if possible. Okay. Now here's here's some examples here of titles that my editor actually helped me with. Okay. Number 6, listing numbers in the headline helps a lot. Okay. Here's an example of an article I wrote about what CIA and FBI veterans told me to look out for when trying to tell if someone's lying in business. I worked at a hedge fund. They hired these people to tell us that stuff. It was cool. And number 7, if you want, you can link to other articles that other people have written. Okay. I don't do this much on LinkedIn, but I guess some people do it. Okay. And some people refer to it as journalistic bartering. Okay. As other journalists might also link to your article, you link to theirs. It's kind of like in the early days with search engines, how we would kind of link all of our pages together, all websites together. And because the way, actually even now, the way Google, their algorithm sort of works, a little different now, is Google will list items first. When you search for stuff, it'll list items first that have the most websites linked to it, right? Whereas Yahoo, which unfortunately couldn't compete, they actually had like kind of real librarians cataloging all that stuff. Okay. Number 8, try to keep your article to less than 800 words. Okay. As unfortunately, the days of writing the 5,000 word editorials in the past are way behind us. Actually, what's even better is if you can keep it to between 350 and 650 words. Okay. Number 9, I had lunch recently with the head of new media at LinkedIn because I asked, and she told me that the posts that do the best on LinkedIn, right? I think she used to be the editor of Fortune and Forbes, whatever, but the ones that do the best are the articles that can answer these 2 questions. Number 1, why are you writing this now? And number 2, why are you the best person to write this? So the context is why now? Why you? Okay. All right. So you're going to get more people to like and share and comment and more traffic on articles that are timely given news events. Like, let's say Apple released a car tomorrow and you wrote about it. Okay. That would probably get more traffic, right? Unless everybody writes about it at the same time. Okay. Number 10, use right now words like must, today, or now. Okay. In the title. Right now words. Must. Why you must do this. Why today you have to. Why right now. That sort of thing. Okay. Number 11, use big names like Steve Jobs or Matthew McConaughey, which I've done actually in recent posts. Okay. Number 12, use special words like tricks, tips, secrets, awesome, amazing, crucial. Okay. And I've done that before. It works. Number 13, make sure to provide a hyperlink to a source to show that you did your research, especially when you list a number.